Sweet. Well, if you want to get 2 pizzas, that's cool. Or breadsticks or whatever. I don't know what they have. I forget. All right. We're just going to wait a minute. We'll wait for everybody to kind of log on here for a sec. Just for a minute. I don't know why it goes bright then dark. It's my camera. I don't have my normal camera either. I'm having to use my computer camera. So, which is not bad. So. There we go. It takes a few minutes for everybody to get notified. So, how's everybody doing with the shift that we're having? So this is a kind of a bigger shift. I've had a lot of people reach out and talk to me about it. And I'm like, and it depends on kind of your sign and how Pluto might affect your chart. But yeah, that's why I'm like, this is a big shift. This big. Because we are officially now in the age of Aquarius. Yep. So now we get to see the massive changes that come with Aquarius from the Aquarian energy. Aquarian energy. Fun. So, and depending on kind of, again, what your zodiac sign is and where it's placed, that really helps. But like I said, if you're a Capricorn, Libra, Aries, and Cancer, you're shifting gears. You're shifting gears. And let's see here, my Aquarius, and hang on, I wrote this down because I can't remember. Like I'm a psychic medium. I'm not that good of an astrologer. I'm basic. So let me see. Yeah, my fixed signs are Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius. And those are the ones that are kind of taking our spot. So that's where we're kind of shifting gears. So, but like I said, if you are an Aries, if you're a Capricorn, if you're a Libra, or if you are a Cancer, you are finally out of a 19, it's about a 19-year-old karmic cycle. You're done. You have learned all your lessons and it's go time. So, and like I said, my fixed signs like Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, Aquarius, they're the ones that are going into that 19-year karmic cycle. And my mutable signs, which is Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, it's a really good one where you guys are always pretty good with change. And so my mutable signs, this really isn't going to affect you too much, but you're here for the change. Yep, you're here for the change. Either way, there's a lot of changes this year, a lot. And it's kind of like get your personal crap done and dealt with, because we're going to need you as part of the team here. So that's why all of us up to this point have been feeling like something big is on the horizon, something big is coming. I'm like, it is. And if you're a star seed, if you're a light worker, if you're enlightened, if you are whatever you want to call yourself, it's really, I'm going to shoot a video tonight, if not tomorrow. I'm just talking about that a little bit more and letting people know that, if you're a light worker, if you're a star seed, if you are anybody who's intuitive, it's like, or in indigo, like it's time for us to kind of come together despite who you voted for. Has nothing to do with any of that. This was going to happen regardless of who got voted in. This has nothing to do with that. So just understand that, like I said, there's going to be some gears shifting here. So, and it's going to be fairly unprecedented. So, but that's, in order for things to change, that's what has to happen. So it's not going to be slow and easy. It's going to be quick and fast. And that's what next year is all about, because we are now in the age of Aquarius, which rules technology. So you will see huge advances in technology, huge. So, but also in terms of technology, here's where the UFOs come into play a little bit. So, so we might no longer need to be dependent on oil that much. So it's going to be dependent on what gets flushed out here. So, But yeah, like I said, I'll repeat that again. So if you are a Capricorn, if you're a Libra, if you are an Aries, or if you were a Cancer, you got out of a 19-year karmic cycle, which you had valuable lessons that were learned. So it depends on where Pluto is in your chart. If it's in the 4th house, 10th house, depends on which house it's in. So mine happens to be in the 4th house, which rules real estate, family, and that's like kind of communication a little bit, things like that. So so it depends on where Pluto is in your chart and how it, changing signs very well could affect you. So my mutable signs, hey, you're just here to go with the flow. That's Capricorn, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces. There's not a whole lot that's going to happen with the mutable signs. Like you're already doing it, so it's all good. But my cardinal signs, like I said, they're getting out of that cycle, whereas my Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius are going into that cycle. So either way, it really doesn't, like I said, you're still part of the team. So like I said, we got big changes coming, and it's going, and you're really beginning now to see the split between enlightened people and unenlightened people. You're starting to see it now. And that's why you're like, people are crazy. I'm like, it might get a little worse. Might get a little worse. So that's what you're going to have the enlightened ones that get it, that feel like they have common sense, talking to people that don't feel like they have any common sense. And you're just like, things like that. You're also going to notice a lot more Mandela effects. You're going to notice that time is now going to speed up. The sleep patterns will be thrown off with you. Like I said, everything now with Pluto changing weirdly changes a lot of other things too. So you will become more intuitive. You're going to. So, but it's time. It's time. So best way to find out your natal chart, this is where you have to have an astrology reading done. Like I said, I'm not that good at figuring out the house. I'm getting better with it. I'm learning. But you almost need an astrologer for that. And that's where, like I said, they'll be able to tell you how to navigate kind of through this energy here a little bit. So like I said, you have to go back to the day that you have to have a full astrology chart. That weird graph, that circle with all the freaking lines in it. You need one of those to be able to figure out where Pluto sits in your particular house. So that's when it gets a little technical, so to speak, but just understand that generally speaking, though, my mutable signs, like I said, they're going to be fine. My cardinal signs are here to go. It's time to go. And then the fixed signs are the ones that are going to go into that karmic year. So, but good stuff. Like I said, I'm a big person that I'm not for fear. I'm really not. I'm very excited with these changes that are coming. And yeah, some of them might be tough. They're called growing pains for a reason, but we have each other. So it's good. It's all good. So, but like I said, this is where you need an astrology, because you people are like, what's it mean to my 10th house? I'm like, I don't know. I'd have to look that one up. Google it. Like, I don't freaking know. You know what? Don't use Google. Use AI. Use ChatGPT. If we're going to start using AI, let's start using it for the right reasons. Like I said, use it for figuring out what house this is in. Tell ChatGPT, this is when I was born. This is la la la. Like, they'll fill in the gaps. So same with I use ChatGPT a lot of times where I'm like, I've got this symptom or that symptom. What more than likely is the problem? This is where I think people don't realize that everybody's scared of technology, but we need to be using it the right way. So, I mean, it's to a point now to where if you get your lab results back from a doctor, get on ChatGPT and say, hey, these are my numbers. Is this good or bad? It's going to tell you. Like, I mean, obviously take it with a grain of salt. You're not going to take that as a doctor, but at the same time, I'm like, the information's out there. Use it to your advantage. So like I said, there's been a lot of chatter about nuclear weapons. Let me talk about that one real quick. Okay. Cause here's the deal. We had a massive shift a couple weeks ago, shortly after the election. What that did was shove us into a completely different timeline. I am no longer worried about nuclear war. That is an old school thing. Here's what ended up happening is the last time the A-bomb got dropped, a lot of other aliens from different galaxies showed up, and they're like, what the hell are you idiots doing? What are you doing? And you will find that people have tried to fire nuclear weapons. They can't. They won't land because they won't allow it. That's why I'm like, I am not worried about World War III. If we do, it's going to be technological. It will be computer. It will be cyber. It's going to be old school. Like I said, you have to remember, we are no longer in 3D. We are now in 5D. We are now in the age of Aquarius. Everything is different. We're not going to do boots to road and nuclear weapons and guns. It's not like that anymore. Now it's going to be tech based. So, like I said, I'm not worried about World War III. I am not worried about necessarily a revolution or civil war. So, are things going to change? Yes, they are. But they are, everybody always automatically defaults to the negative. They automatically default to the fear. And I'm telling you, what's happening is they're trying to spread as much fear as possible to keep you small. You can't help other people if you're swimming in fear. So don't watch the news. Put your phone down. Like, you're getting sucked into the fear. And I'm telling you, I'm not seeing that. I'm not. I'm not. I'm really not. That's like, we are on a completely different timeline now. So I'm not worried about any war. Not worried. So, let's see. Hang on. Meaning behind 17. I don't know. You got to look that one up. So, and because here's the deal. I'm not going to memorize all 99 freaking numbers. Screw that. I got better things to do with my time. So there's a book called Angel Numbers. We sell it at Awakenings. I use it all the time. So it's by Kyle Gray. It's an Angel Numbers book. It has got every number in there from 1 to 999. Get that book. I will tell you that it's funny because I literally have all my book. I have it in the other room. It's literally like the front cover is almost curved because I use it so much. So yeah. When I say 5D, what difference and why we're here? So when I say 5D, we're now in a different timeline. We are now in a 5th dimension. We are not in a 3rd dimension. So now we're if you want, like, you have to think about this quantumly. Okay. So we were dealing with a triangle. Now we're dealing with a cube. So do you see what I mean? I'm like, there's more sides to a cube. There's more depth. There's more to experience. And so this is where you're going to see the split between 3D people who are full of fear, who are not enlightened, who don't seem like they have common sense, and they're ignorant. And then 5D people who are naturally intuitive, going through a spiritual awakening or already in a spiritual awakening. But here's the kicker, is that there's going to be less and less people from 3D coming to 5D now. So you can't wake somebody up. You can't get them to, you can't force anybody to go through a spiritual awakening. So now you have to start putting up boundaries. Now you have to be okay with understanding that they can't go on the ride with you. You were born alone. You are going to die alone. This is your game to play while you're here. You can't take your mommy and daddy with you. Okay. You can't bring your children with you. That you have to do this alone. So, and I know that's really scary because here us humans like that. And I'm like, that's not how it is spiritually speaking. So, but it's like I said, it's going to take us a little bit of time to get used to this energy. I mean, we literally, from a society standpoint, went from crawling to now we're walking as toddlers. That's a big deal. So, like I said, that's why I'm like, be patient because we're still learning. Where I'm excited is that up to this point, it's been very difficult for me to look forward. It's been, as a psychic, it's been very hard for me to see forward. After that shift 2 weeks ago, boom, I can now see it. Like I can see forward again, like I did. But now things are different. And I say that because it seems like now when I say, oh, that would be really nice to have, boom, I have. I'm like, that should have taken me a few more months. Like I got it in like a few days. So manifesting is going to be easier. That's why up to this point, I've been telling people, fix your trauma, fix your shit, get it done, get your stuff taken care of. So get it taken care of because now that we're going into a 5D, we're, like I said, we're going to be moving forward, and it's going to happen rather quickly. So, but now we have to start helping everybody else. So, like I said, easier said than done, right? This one's easy. Do you want to know if they're in 3D or 5D? If you're in 5D, you're seeing 1111. How about that? Or you see your birthday. There you go. And if you're watching me right now and I don't annoy the shit out of you, then you're probably going through a spiritual awakening. So if you see that 1111, that is your sign that you're in 5D. So people that are in 3D are the ones that piss you off. They're the ones that you meet them and you're like, I don't like you. I'm like, there's a reason. There's a reason. Not that they're necessarily bad. It just means that they're unenlightened and you are enlightened. You are now on two different playing fields. So, and you can't hardly communicate with them. And that's going to get worse. That's what I'm trying to explain. This split is only going to continue to get worse to where you're looking at 3D people going, don't you want to be happy? Like, you're miserable. All you have to do is A, B, and you'd be totally happy. And they won't do it because if anything, they're going to go throw rocks at you and tell you that you're crazy. So you can't help people that either don't want to be helped or don't understand the concept of you going up a mountain because they're in the valley of illusion. They're just not going to see it. So, and you're going to see that more separation. And the 3D people are rude, mean, aggressive, stupid, ignorant, but they don't get it. They don't get it. It's going to rely to us for us to step in and say, no, you're not treating the Burger King lady that way. I'm sorry. Like, you ain't going to have it your way. Get the hell on out. So it's going to take a lot of us to start coming together and no longer allow that behavior in our society. So, like, filming it ain't going to do it anymore. All right. Now we have to start intervening and be like, no, we're done with this. We're done with the bullshit. Like, if you have an issue, it's your issue. Quit blaming other people. Get the hell on out. So that's where I'm like, we're going to have to start doing that because I said that we want peace. We want peace. It's not a matter of being necessarily right or wrong. Just be nice. And if you're going to be an asshole in front of me in line, yeah, I'm going to say something. Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah. Let's see. Like I said, again, biggest thing I can tell you if you're one of those cardinal signs, it's time for you to pull into your own power. You don't get to sit and be like, oh, well, I can't, or give yourself any more excuses. You've learned all the lessons you've needed to learn. And if you're still getting triggered, fix that shit and fix it now. So, because if you're still getting triggered, it's you. It's because you're allowing something to happen. What the fuck was that? I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. That was weird. Because somebody just went by, like, behind me and said, hi, Kelly, and just walked. I'm like, what in the? Okay. I mean, I knew I was tapped in, but I didn't think I was tapped in that much. Oh, that was weird. I'm in a hotel, but I'm like, I haven't had any issues here. All right. Anyway. Like, it was like something just went right by me, like right by me, and just touched me on my shoulders. I was like, oh, what the hell was that? The sound went out. Yeah. I think something might have glitched, but that was weird. So it glitched when that happened. Yeah. Yeah. Cause usually spirit will really monkey with my shit, but I'm like, we'll have to go back. So it was like, 18? So at 18 minutes, we'll go back and take a look at that. I'd be willing to bet we might see something. That was weird. It was a female. Hi, Kelly. I'm like, so if one of you told one of your loved ones to do that, knock that shit off. Quit it. I'm trying to talk. Friggin', it was a nice lady. I can tell you that. I don't know if you guys told you that, but frick, oh dear. So I will tell you today, it's been very strange. I even told Eric, and I'm like, I might have to I think I might have to have a drink tonight. And he was like, what? And I'm like, I think I'm going to have a drink tonight. And he's like, why? And I'm like, I swear to God, I can see sound. I tried to ground. I couldn't ground hardly at all. So I don't have any crystals on me I'm like, I'm trying to ground. I can't. So I'm like, well, so maybe I probably start getting some shungite on me. So that way this glitchy stuff doesn't happen. Done. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, I'm like, that was just weird. Mouth and sound's been off. Weird. Yeah, you can feel colors. That's no shit. Like I'm very, very tapped in. So right now, I'm guessing if I'm tapped in, you guys are too, and having trouble with that. So more likely, if you're getting 4 or 5 hours of sleep, that's probably what's going on. Because here's the deal: people don't realize that your third eye is attached to your pineal gland, and your pineal gland regulates melatonin and serotonin. So it's the melatonin that we're not producing that much because we're tapped in a little bit much. So that's why I'm like going, if you're not sleeping good, you don't need it. You just think you do. So, but yeah, that's on my, so basically I'm here to help you guys answer questions. So I will repeat myself one more time. So, and otherwise you guys go back and watch this. So when it comes to my mutable signs, all right, when it comes to Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, you guys are fine with this shift that's going on. You guys are kind of used to change. So this shift isn't going to be a big deal. All right. So if you are a cardinal sign, which is Capricorn, Cancer, Libra, and Aries, it's freaking go time. It's go time. You've had your lessons, pull into your power. Let's roll. We got things to do. Okay. So, and then lastly, my fixed signs, Taurus, Scorpio, Leo, and Aquarius, you guys are going into that 19-year karmic cycle. It doesn't mean that you're not part of the team. You're damn skippy, you're part of the team. But wherever Pluto is on your astrology chart, like if it's in, for instance, in the first house, that's all about your outward appearances. So maybe that very well could change. So that's a big one. So like I said, depends on your chart, but understand that you're still part of the team. You just might have some personal glitches that you just have to work on, but otherwise you're good. So like I said, this is all really good stuff. It's just that we are now officially in the age of Aquarius. So, and I'm like, now we're in 5D, we had a timeline shift, and now we're in the age of Aquarius. Now we have the green light. We've all been kind of waiting for the green light. Now we have the green light. So I'm like, okay. And my guides are like, okay, start telling them that we have to taking care of each other. I'm like, how? And they said, when they go out to, if you see somebody being mean or rude to somebody else, we need to start stepping in. So, and really understanding that most people, when they're angry or showing that, is truly because they're hiding, usually it's the guardian of fear and pain. So, but it's like I said, good stuff. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to discuss this. Birds and planes seem to be still in the sky like they're floating. Now that we are in 5D, things are going to be a little different. You might notice this more often. And I'm going to tell you what I want you to do is record it with your phone. Not taking a picture. I want you to video record it. And when you do, look through your camera and record it. And then after a bit, I want you to go back and play it. What's happening is, here's the deal. They have to disclose that we have been dealing with aliens, ETs, UAPs, UFOs for years. We've actually been doing it since probably the 40s. So understand that we've been dealing with intergalactic trading at this point. We already have reverse engineered UFOs and UAPs. So understand that sometimes they'll disguise themselves as planes because they have to cloak themselves. But if you record it with your video recorder, you'll actually see it glitch out and then come back together. So it's really strange, but you'll see. You'll see. Just record it, and then all of a sudden, like I said, you'll replay it back. You're like, it like glitched out. I'm like, because it wasn't a plane. No, it wasn't a plane. But they have to start disclosing. They decided to do a slow drip disclosure. But basically they have until next year before the good aliens are like, all right, we're done. We need to introduce ourselves, but you guys need to get going on your technology. So but yeah, basically put. What will happen to the people who can't get into 5D? They'll just reincarnate. They may not they'll reincarnate somewhere. So remember, their soul is still learning. So they're still learning. But that's okay. Like I said, you can't save people from themselves. You can't save people from, like I said, themselves or where their mindset is or anything else. The best thing that you can do is pray for them, because that's all you can do. So, and prayers do work. They really do. Capricorn pot symptoms. Yes. So I haven't looked to see, Kelly, if we have any solar flares or geomagnetic storms, but remember, Pluto moving signs does a lot of weird things because Pluto is the ruler of death and birth. So I think this is going to settle down just a little bit. I also have POTS. So I've had some heart palpitations as well, just over the last 2 days. What ends up happening is what I'm going to tell you is tell her to bear down and cough. Do that. It'll kick it back into rhythm. It's fine. Just understand when your heart chakra opens really fast and then closes and then opens and then closes, this is where we have issues with the heart palpitations. So it's totally normal. Like I said, there's a lot of weird anxiety-like feelings, but it's not anxiety. So the best thing is, number one, hydrate. Number two, she's got to ground. She has to open and stabilize the root chakra. So we need to make sure to open and stabilize the root. There's lots of different ways to do that. Like I said, just Google that shit, but there's a lot of different ways you can do that. So is it true that people with disabilities in this life become teachers on the other side? They'll either become teachers or they will become spirit guides. But yes, if you incarnate into this world with a disability, knowing that you're going to have a disability, because it's a mind, body, soul connection. If you're choosing to come in with one of those kind of broken, you get the gold star, because your job in this world is to teach nothing more than unconditional love. That's it. That's your job. So, and usually if you're coming in that way, when you leave, you kind of get the gold star to where you don't have to incarnate anymore, at least to Earth. So, because Earth is one of the most difficult places to come. So, let's see. So let's talk about this one. How do you work on forgiving and not being angry at family members that did you wrong? First of all, look at how they were raised. So understand this, just because you were raised the same as your parents, as your siblings, you guys will not be the same. You will pick a sibling that is completely opposite of you. You will. So, and the reason why is it's going to help to define who you are better. You need the polarity factor. So on average, you're going to pick one parent that you get along with, one parent you don't get along with, and a sibling that will be completely polar opposite of you. In every family, there's a crazy one, there's a narcissistic one, there's an empath, there's a caregiver, there's the rebel. There's the one that beats to his own drum. There's the really smart one. Like, there's one in every family. So you just have to look at your family and go, okay, why would I pick this family for myself? Coming into this world, why the hell would I pick them? And you're really going to be able to look at that and go, oh my God, I see it. So I see why I chose my dad to die when I was 20 years old. I see that. I would not be the medium that I am. I wouldn't have the faith that I do. I would not be here if that didn't happen. So, like I said, in a weird way, I can look at this going, oh my God, it's a blessing in disguise. Yes, people have done me dirty, but at the same time, I know the truth, and that's all that matters. Karma will catch up. Feel bad for them. So, but it really does help to be able to look at how they were raised. Really, if you are able to look at how somebody was raised, you're like, wow, no wonder why you did what you did because you really don't know any other way. And then you're able to forgive them because they're ignorant, not stupid. Stupid's different. Ignorant. So ignorant means that it's a teachable moment. I can teach you. So, but if you're stupid, that means they tell me that you're doing it even though that you know better. Then I'm going to clap back. Like, I'm still a Gen X kid. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm enlightened, but I'm still Gen X. FAFO. If you're going to be stupid, I'm going to clap back. So if you're ignorant, that's cool. Like, you don't know any better. That I can forgive ignorance. I can't forgive stupidity. That's harder for me. So, but like I said, forgiveness is easier. But it helps to look at how they were raised. It really does. Yeah. So here's a great one. Tried to meditate, broke down crying, not sure why. This is a good one. And I'm going to tell you what, I like this. If you are angry, just pissed out of nowhere, good, get it out. If you're sad and you don't know why, good, get it out. There is a lot of people right now releasing. A lot of people are releasing. A lot of it had to do with the full moon, but I'm like, get it out. Don't drink it down. Don't smoke it away. Get it out. It's just a subconscious release, meaning that consciously you're like, what the hell is my problem? I'm like, doesn't matter. Get it out. It's old school shit that you needed to let go of. Now you have the opportunity to let go of it. Get rid of it. So, and that's not you, Janice. There's a lot of people right now that are just popping off, angry, crying, then mad, then angry, then sad, like weird fucking emotions in a matter of just a few minutes. And I'm like, hey, that's all right. Get it out. Just get it out right now. Just get it out. So it's not always easy. Just like I said, get it out. Just don't stuff it down. That's the big, I just don't want you to stuff it down, because if it's coming out, now's the time for it to come out. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes this is the most inconvenient time. So let's see here. Support for extreme headaches, light sensitivity. That's par for the course. Like I said, moving into the fight, your intuition is going to go whoop. And even better is that Mercury goes on the 25th. So what happens in Mercury retrograde? I like Mercury retrograde for a few reasons. The main reason is everybody's intuition, they get freaking dialed up. And I'm like, so understand that if you're having the headaches, the light sensitivity, the noise sensitivity, I had that yesterday. It's just, we got to ground and stabilize. All these chakras here are way open. So the heart, the throat, the third eye, the crown, boom, they're all open and go wah, wah. And you're just like, so that we got to ground. You're like a tree. You got all this open underneath. It's too shallow. We need to ground. So, and that's why I'm like, feed outside. If it's too cold, get your ass in a basement. Eat your root vegetables. Listen to certain music that's grounding or opening up the root chakra. Anything along those lines are really, really going to help. But it sounds like your third eye is open really wide and big. And mine is too. Mine is too. And I'm trying, like I said, to kind of get it toned down with all the normal things that I do. It ain't working. So my last ditch effort usually is alcohol, because alcohol is a depressant, but it helps to get me to tap out a little bit. I'm not saying I drink the whole, I just have a drink. So just enough to kind of get me to not freaking see sound. Yeesh. Yeah, this full moon was a bigger doozy than what I thought. Yeah, this one was a big one. It was our last super moon, but I think this one was more powerful than all the others up to this point. I mean, it was very emotional. It was almost just like, here's the truth, boom, and you're just like, whoa, I wasn't ready for that. But there was just a lot of that. Even my dogs were up my ass. So I'm like, get off, but they were just stage 4 clingers, and kids and animals were that way. So it's just starting to kind of wane out. But when it wanes out like that, here comes the emotion. So here comes all the emotion, the weird body aches, the kind of sensitivity kind of gets a little wonky. So that should be toning down by about Thursday. So we're almost there. That should be really starting to tone down. So Let's see. So, hang on, somebody's going fast. Waking up feeling like you had a really good cry. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I see a lot of fuzzies, almost like stars on Snoopy. Makes sense. Yes. A lot of people have been complaining about their eyes. Blurry eyes, watery eyes, dry eyes, kind of like scratchy feeling, and or you're seeing like blobs or the sky moving a little bit. That really is all about your third eye being open. And sometimes it kind of weirdly crosses with our regular eyeballs. And I don't think people realize that your third eye or your pineal gland does have rods and cones in it, just like your regular eyes. And so those are getting activated as well. And that's why, like I said, your eyes feel kind of funky right now. It's because most people aren't used to their third eye being open for a long period of time. So it'll start to, like I said, tone down a little bit. But like I said, you're not the only one. Like a lot of people are overly emotional right now. Good, get it out. Get it out, get it out, get it out. Yeah, and people are either super freaking hungry or not hungry at all. So Eric and I were just saying that he's just like, we got to get something to eat for dinner. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what. We're just not hungry. And it's we go through those weird waves. So right now he and I are not that hungry, whereas some of our friends are like, we're starving. And I'm like, weird. So you're either not hungry at all or eating like a freaking pig. So either way, give your body just give your body what it needs. So does Awakenings have somebody that does astrology? Yeah, Jess does. Yep, Jess at Awakenings, she does astrology. A lot of ear ringing. So again, low on the right ear, the low wah hum, those are usually your spirit guides. The high pitched are usually going to be angels, and the left side is usually going to be your loved ones. So that's gonna keep getting amped. So the more that your throat chakra opens, the more the ear jaw thing kind of happens. Yep. So wanting lots of caffeine. Yeah. My biggest right now is sugar. Oh, I've got some massive sugar cravings, and I am like, that's my Achilles heel. So I've been really trying to get the bananas and the fruit, get my fruit in there to help with the sugar cravings. So, and I don't know where they come from either. They just every once in a while. Yeah, it seems like everybody's all kind of saying the same thing. Like, God, yeah, like we just feel really kind of discombobulated. Like I said, we had a massive shift, so it's going to take that just a little bit long to kind of to get used to this energy. So again, if you feel like you need to rest, just rest. Just rest. Give your body what it needs. So Mark, that's actually weirdly common. Sometimes when they have dementia, they can't necessarily separate out, or they don't necessarily remember dreams. And sometimes when they're awake, that kind of clocks in there, just that hallucination kind of goes in and then kind of goes out. So some people do have issues with that weird hallucination stuff. So sometimes with dementia, they're like, oh, I see little people. And I'm like, yeah, I see dead people and I don't see no little people. But like I said, that's a weird commonality that we see. Okay, let's talk about this. So men's beards. It is no different than females cutting their hair. So back in World War I, they had a lot of Native Americans that were damn good at tracking. So the Army decided to take those Native Americans and put them into the Army and use them for tracking services. But what they failed to realize is that when their hair was long and braided, they could track. But the minute they cut their hair, they could no longer track. This is an extension of your crown. So the longer your hair, the easier it is for you to kind of get your feelies. Men with beards, it's easier for them to get the feelies if they have a little bit longer hair or a beard. So a lot of times when they shave the beard off or when girls cut the hair, it's usually because they want a restart of some sort. So maybe they started a new job, maybe they got out of a relationship, whatever it is. It's almost always a restart. So when a girl cuts her hair short, usually there's an emotional reason why. So, but hair is an extension of your crown. And so that's why here's a big one from my empaths. You ready for this one? Here's the deal, empaths. If you're going out in public, don't wear your hair down. Because what it does is extends your auric field out even farther. So then you got every Tom, Dick, and Harry coming to talk to you at the checkout line. If you wear a hoodie or a hat, you won't have that problem because you're covering your crown. So when you go out in public, cover your crown. You won't be as tapped in, and it will be easier to deal with people. So that's why sometimes in foreign countries, they wear wraps around their head or they cover their head. I'm like, spiritually speaking, smart. So, however, it's harder for neurodivergent. So if you're ADD, ADHD, Asperger's, autistic, we don't like this area exposed. So this is where we like our hoodies or like things to cover our ears. So if you have a kiddo that's that way, please don't take away our hoodies. We need it. We don't like this part exposed. But like I said, empaths, wear a hat, a hoodie, or put your hair up in a bun up here. That will help so much more when it comes to you going out and peopling. Number 2, don't wear black. Black does what? Black absorbs all colors. White reflects it. So what do you think it's going to do for you if you wear black and you go out in public? You're going to absorb that energy. That's why if you notice, if you wear black a lot, you'll be more tired. And everybody will tell you their problems. Break it up. Wear a little gray and black, that's fine. Break it up. So, So, yep. So, like I said, now you know. Little things like that. See, little tricks. The good little tricks. Will a braid protect you if your hair is down? Yes. Yes, it will. Like I said, get it tight. Get it, like I said, braids are great. Ponytails are good. Put them up in a bun. Cover. Because you don't want this covered. So a lot of times when I'm going into a cemetery, especially, or go into a hospital, or even a like nursing home, I almost always have a shawl. This is a shawl. I'm almost always, when I walk in there, I'll kind of do one of these. And I know it looks weird. I don't freaking care anymore. I don't give a shit. Like I got to have this covered. I can't. It's too hard. So, yeah. Then why do we wear black to funerals? I'm like, exactly. So it's a sign of mourning. That's old school. So, like I said, that's why I'm like, if you're an empath, we don't wear black and we don't wear our hair down if we're going to be in public, especially if you're going to go to Walmart. Don't do that. So I'm wearing black because I need to freaking ground as much as I possibly can. And I can't. Well, I can. I'm just energetically not able to. So let's see here. Oh, right here. Does feng shui work? Yes. Yes, it does. At first, I thought it was all poo-poo. No, there's some legit stuff with that. I have known people that, for instance, you don't want to live necessarily on a corner house, or you don't want to live what they call a poison arrow. So, when there's a T intersection like this, you don't want to live right there. That's called a poison arrow. So it's where energy stops and moves. So it's funny. People that live in poison arrow houses are always sick. It's a weird pattern I see. So, yep, very strange. Hi. So, Walmart on Saturday. Oh, hell no. Hell no. You kidding me, Mom? Mom even, she wouldn't go to Costco. Mom, it's Sunday. Have you lost your mind? Do essential oils work? Yes, they do. Pizza delivery guy. You know what? I'm going to talk about this one right here, Rochelle. Not only are you going to see a lot of pets, you're going to see a lot of people. If they're not meant to be on a 5 timeline, and that's not on track, they might cross over earlier. I always keep an eye on Jupiter. I don't know why. Whenever Jupiter is in a certain area, sometimes that's usually when I let people know. I'm like, oh, mass exodus. But if you do live in a poison arrow house, cleanse that energy. You just have to sage it. We got to cleanse that energy out just a little bit more. That's all. That's all you got to do. So, I lived in a poison arrow house that was haunted. Yeah, most of them are. So that's what people don't understand. I pay attention, at least here in Nebraska, because it's mostly native. So I'm paying attention where your house is located. Is it on top of a hill? Because we bury our dead on the top of a hill. Yeah. And we always face our dead from east to west. So a lot of times they love to build a house on a hill, and then they have fire damage, then they have a leak, and then they have storm damage, and then they have more damage. I'm like, you built it on the wrong spot. So, yay. There's a church built on one where you live. My house used to be a church growing up as a child. So my mom did not believe me until I was in junior high, and I finally convinced her to go down to the museum. And in the museum, they had a book, and I said, there is our house right there. And she was like, well, what do you know? It is a church. And I'm just like, Mom, at 7 years old, I should not have hymns memorized because I hear them every night. So, but it was always good growing. I mean, church energy is good. I don't care what church energy is good energy. I've never been in a church that's bad. I've had some bad little areas, but not necessarily the whole thing. So, let's see. Hang on. So, Jocelyn, I did explain this like 4 times already, and I just reposted all my videos. So go back and watch it. I'm done explaining it. Like, I can't explain this anymore. So, like I said, just understand that if you're a mutable sign, you don't have to worry about anything. Cardinal signs, you're getting ready to roll, and fixed signs are getting ready to go into a 19-year karmic cycle, which isn't bad. It's just the fact that you're going to be learning personal or valuable lessons depending on where Pluto is in your personal birth chart. So, the shoulder in the cemetery that I showed, was that real? It was. Why is this not clicking on? Man. But yes, it was big. So, okay. Yes, there it is. I don't know why it's coming late. Like, everything is weird today. So weird. So weird. But yes, it was. I didn't catch that shot because usually when I used to do ghost tours, I would have 40 people with me. And I'm like, usually we'd get one damn good picture out of 40 people in one night. So that was a great shot. Let's see. What kind of oils can you put on a bracelet for your granddaughter that has a lot of anxiety? Lavender. Lavender is a good go-to. Can an unenlightened person be psychic? Yes, if they use tools. So when I first started, there was a lady that asked me, she's like, well, you know what? I teach tarot cards. So, tell you what, you read me and I'll read you. I'm like, okay, great. So she, whipped her cards. She read me first. And I thought it was very basic, but I'm like, yeah, okay. But then when I whipped out my cards and started, I'm like, oh, wow. You got some unresolved trauma with your mom yet. And she was like, we're done talking. Like, I'm sorry. And she goes, I asked you to read the cards. I didn't ask you to read me. I'm like, well, they're a tool to be able to read you. She goes, Kelly, some people can just read the cards. That's what I teach. Okay. Okay. So yes, they can. I will tell you that at this point, they're behind the 8 ball a lot. But you can still, use a pendulum or some sort of a tool to be able to help answer questions. So technically, yes, but I wouldn't go to one that's unenlightened. But remember, here's the deal. A psychic is only somebody who can tell you where you've been, where you're at, where you're going. Now, a medium talks to your loved ones, dead people, and your spirit guides. So there is a difference between a psychic and a medium. So, and I think people get those two terminologies confused, and they're not. They're, like I said, a psychic is somebody who can tell you where you've been, where you're at, where you're going next. And a medium is the one who can talk to dead people. And every medium has psychic abilities, but not every psychic is a medium. Takes a little bit more of a step up. So, and some people are just weird like me that are just naturally good at it. And other people we got to practice with. That's fine. So, but I teach that. So I teach all about this stuff. So that's what Enlightenment Academy is about. So I think next class is actually next Wednesday. And then the next one, I believe, is like April. No, I forget. February, April, March, something like that. I don't know. I forget. So let me see. Do I know who I'm talking to as a medium? Oh yeah, it's almost always your loved ones, and they always introduce themselves. I'm the mom. I'm like, great, you stand over there. So, but yeah, I always know who I'm talking to. I tell them what to do. They don't tell me what to do. So otherwise, everybody would be yelling at me and whoa, like, oh gosh. So I've learned how to organize. So, but yeah. No, I always know who I'm to. But here's the deal. Before I even read somebody, I'm already 2 steps ahead, because before I even go, I'll say something like, God, angels, please surround me with the white light of the Holy Spirit. Please help me to help as many people as I can for their highest good. And the 4 people that I'm going to be reading that day, you're damn skippy. I'm making sure that I'm only talking to people for your highest good. We don't need to talk to some dipshit who died on the Mormon trail who wants to start talking to me. I don't need to talk to them. So I want to talk to people that are for your highest good. It is an extremely rare bird. Very, very rare. Only probably honestly happened 4 times in the thousands of readings that I've done that I can't talk to somebody. Your loved ones are more than happy to talk to you, especially if it's going to have you understand that they're good and you have shit to do here. So, and they're going to help guide you since you're here. So you always have time to go up and chat to them, but you chose to be here. So we got stuff to do. So, but yes, I always know who I'm talking to. And at any point in time, if it does not feel loving or helpful or anything like that, I'm done talking, get the hell on out. Like, I'll talk to everybody else, con out. So yeah. But again, this is part of that Enlightenment Academy that I teach, that how to be able to navigate, how to be able to put up those boundaries and make sure that you're doing this the right way. So are spirits ever mean? So here's the deal. If they checked into heaven, no. If they're lost, yes. So if they're lost souls, if they're ghosts, yeah, they're assholes. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, they can be. Usually they like to call me the C word. That's how I know that they haven't crossed over. And I'm like, and usually I'll snap back. Like, I'm a lady and you don't get to talk to me. And they're like, oh, I'm like, that's right. That's right. I just heard what you said. I'm like, sit down. We're going to have a chat. And they're like, no. I'm like, then get the hell on out, because I can make you go if you don't want to. And they usually sit down and listen. So do I only do readings in person? No, I do them via Zoom as well. So reason you lose your voice? Because Molly, you really want to speak your truth. You really want to tell it like it is, and you're not willing to do that. And instead you're biting your tongue because it's easier for you to not cause a fuss. Like, speak your truth. There's a way to be mean about it, and there's a way to be nice about it. Obviously we're going to be nice and start the sentence with I feel or I need or whatever, then communicate that way. So how does a lost soul get back into heaven? Usually people like us can help cross them over. It's not that hard. So all you do is you're just going to light a white candle. I still don't quite know why, but they always tell me that. So light a white candle, ask for God to send down the white light of the Holy Spirit, and just and ask for angels to come by and take that person home. You'll know when angels arrive because your ears will ring at a really high pitch and you'll get the willies. That's usually when they're going to transition over. And here's what's great that people don't know is that when you finally cross them over, within 3 days, you're going to get a thank you sign. Almost always for me, it's some sort of a butterfly that lands like on me, or the last one landed on my forehead and went like this a couple times and then took off. I'm like, you're welcome. So, let me see. Ear infection as an adult, there's too much noise going on, and you don't want to listen to what's being told to you because you're freaking over it. So it's no real different than kids. Kids are the same way. If there's too much noise or too much going on, they have ear infections because there's just too much noise. Let's see. Shelly, a lot of us have had the weird hair on the arms and legs tingling. Again, it's because we're now in 5D energy and our bodies aren't quite used to that. And so you're going to have some more of those willies like that until you're used to the energy. So like I said, we're in 5D energy now and it's different energy. And that's why we've been so tired and moody. That's because we're not used to this energy and our bodies are like, oh, so it's like, our mind is really kind of okay. Our soul is great, but our body's like, we need rest. And it feels pretty dysfunctional right now. I'm like, I promise it's going to get better. So promise. You keep stubbing your toes. I will tell you that I have the drop seies. I can't, everything, I'm like holding something and I drop it all the time. So, and that's part of this energy too. So I'm like, fun. But yeah, I got the drop seies. I keep dropping everything. I guarantee you, Renee, that he is with God. I don't even question that. Always. Like I said, it is such a rare bird if somebody goes to hell. And if they are, they're only there for a very short while. We're talking a few days and they're out. So like I said, it's a bigger picture thing, but just understand, I can guarantee you, he's probably just readjusting and he's not ready to give any messages yet. That's okay. You'll get one. It may not come in a form that you're expecting, but you'll get one. Ask. Yes. And the truth is going to start coming out about all that stuff. So yeah. So that's why I'm like, it will start next year with a lot of people getting information because you have to understand, aliens can't just start showing up. 1 or 2 people would be cool, but a whole society can't handle that. They can't do that. So they're going to start slow. They're going to start by, giving people dreams. And you're going to see that everybody's dreams are going to be very similar. So that's how it's going to start. That'll probably start next year. They're not going to just show up next year, but 2026, 2028, they're supposed to be like, hi. And just understand that they're not here. They can't, how do I explain this one? They're not here to rescue you. We have to do that ourselves. They give us information, but they're not here to rescue us. We have to do that as a society. So that's where I'm like, I just want to make sure that nobody feels like people are going to come in to rescue you. No, you have to do it yourself. You got to do it yourself. No faces in dreams. That's okay, Carrie. I will tell you that faces, hands, mouth, and body, like the face or the hands, a lot of times when I see dead people, they have mittens. Very rarely are they pointing. And if they do, they're pointing for a reason or doing something that I can see. But almost always it looks like they have mittens and it looks like they have big, like they're blank eyes. And sometimes I can't see the mouth. But that's okay. That's just, again, they're trying to pull in energy. And my brain is going to interpret that energy a certain way, right? So that's how I'm like, it's okay if you don't see faces in the dreams. Sometimes I don't either, but that doesn't mean it's bad. Not at all. Not at all. Yes. Here's the deal, Judy. You always get to choose. You have free will here. You have free will there. The only thing is that you have karmic debt. meaning that if you hurt somebody really bad in this life and you didn't get hurt back in this life, well, then that's going to have to happen in the next life. Now, whether that's here on Earth or a different galaxy is up to you. It's not up to a judge or a jury or anything like that. You get your own free will. You get to choose. But you have to remember, we choose to come here because we learn the fastest at a soul level here versus any other place. Every other place doesn't have the division, doesn't have the polarity, doesn't have all of the different negative facets to everything. It's just, like I said, it only exists really here. But from a soul level, you learn so much. And when you do cross over, they're like, whoa, you did Earth time? You're like, yeah. They're like, it's like a weird badge of honor. They call it Terra, Terra, Terra. You went to Terra? And I'm like, why do they call it that? They're like, it means Earth. I'm like, so, but they call it Terra. It's no different than Spirit says source or creator. We just say God. It's the same thing. So, or light, universe, whatever verbiage you want to put in, it's the same damn thing. They just usually say creator or source. So, but I'm like, I use God. They're like, it's fine. I'm like, okay. So a lot of people don't even know that you've probably had lifetimes in different places. So you just don't remember, and that's okay. You're not supposed to. So here's the deal. Everybody's worried about a solar flash. So, and we don't know, because we are in a solar maximum. That is possible. But if we have a solar flash, we're all going to die. So, okay. So I'm like, we could be dying tomorrow, but don't let the fact that if we might have a solar flash, well, shit, we might have a meteor hit us too. Meh. So it doesn't matter. Again, that's just fear. So it's just fear. No, they cannot raise your vibration. Although what does end up happening sometimes is when you are around somebody who's a high vibration, you in turn go high vibration too. So in a way, yes. But they're not going to have that much free reign right out the gate. It's going to take them a little while for us to get used to that, because they're just not going to show up and be like, okay, here's what we're going to do. No, it ain't going to be like that. So let's see here. Not only do we live longer in 5D, and it's not so much for us, it's the kids below us, we will become taller, thinner, and our eyes will start getting bigger. So, yep. So you'll start to, that's why you're seeing kids now that are taller than their parents, and they keep getting taller. We're going to get taller, slender, bigger eyes. Yeah. And more intuitive. We're going to be born more intuitive. So that's why you're going to see kiddos now that are born this new energy. They very well could be talking later in life. They might begin talking when they're 3 and 4 because they expect telepathic communication. And we're like, no, you're here on Earth, honey. You got to talk. So it'll be interesting. So, but you're going to see a lot more of that. It's not that the kid is behind at all. Not at all. No, Jocelyn, all that's coming out next year. All this stuff is coming out next year. So I'm like, you think P. Diddy was upsetting? Oh, by the way, they did release all 100 people that he has issued. Yeah. Like I said, some of your favorite actors and actresses and musicians are going to be on that list. Understand that there is a game that they have to play in order to be rich and famous. There's a game and there's a cost. So that's all I'm going to say, because I can't say too much more because I'll get blackballed. So I will tell you that if you have not signed up for my newsletter, you might want to, because like I said, if they shut me down, at least you guys can still find me. Let's see. Pam, mom giving up stage 4 cancer diagnosis. How do you find peace? I will tell you that her soul is at peace with this decision. Coming from a 20-year-old child whose father decided to do that at 45 years old, I now understand why. They want the last parts of their life to be at peace with their family, without pain, with ease. That's what they want. And like I said, that's okay. I know that we want them to fight, but the pain isn't worth the fight. The body stuff isn't worth it. So let him go in peace. I get it. I get it. After years of being so mad, now I get it. Now that I understand the death process, I get it. No, Mark, it won't be. That's what we get to fight. That's what we will be fighting, because we will not comply. So that's where I'm like going, they want that, and it ain't gonna happen. Nope. Yes, the great reveal is coming. Absolutely, Keith. You're right on the money. It is. It's coming. So it's going to just start more infractions. Like I said, we're going to see more P. Diddy stuff. You have to understand Epstein list is out. You got to find it. But again, that's going to be on the down low because most of the politicians are on that one. So, yeah. So your guides are telling you it's time to get to work. Mine are too. And that's what I mean is that we're going to have to start to come together to demand better food, to demand that things change. We have to start demanding it. So like I'm done watching the pharmaceutical companies. I'm done with the damn chemtrails. I'm done with them putting fluoride in my water. I'm done with it. And now if we all come together and say we've had enough, now they have to change because it's a majority rule. It's never been minority rule. It's always been majority rule. And so that's what that's what we're here to start chipping away at. So, and that's where I'm like, that's why we're all getting told, get to work. And I'm like, oh, that's why you've been preparing me for the last couple of years to get ready. I'm like, oh, that's why. Yep. So, I'm like, oh, I get it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you keep getting the be ready message. Right. So, yep, that's why. And be ready means that we are now, like I said, we are now in the age of Aquarius. We are now in 5D. Now you see why you incarnated here. It's because you chose to be here with this big shift. Mind you, that doesn't happen very often in other galaxies. It's a rare bird. And you are here to experience exactly this. That's good stuff. That's when you die, you're going to be able to like, I was there for that shit. And it was awesome. It was hard, but it was awesome. So it's like I said, you have to look at keep your big picture open. It helps with the fear. Okay. Keep the big picture open. So, and this is a great question. How do you get ready? Fix your shit. Like if you got drama in your life, fix it and fix it now. Fix it now. Get rid of it. So if you got somebody causing you problems, that person shouldn't be in your life. If they're, you know what I mean? I mean, obviously you need to help them, but I'm like, again, like boundaries need to be up. If somebody, you have seen now if they're a part of your team or if they're not. And if they're not, bless their heart, move on. Move on. You can't take them with you. You got to move on. The past is the past. You learned. We got to move forward. So that's what I'm like, if you still are getting triggered, if you are still experiencing trauma, get out of it. Fix it. Everything's fixable. And that might require work, meaning that you might have to kick somebody out of your house. You might have to say, you know what? I'm not doing Thanksgiving this year. Like, that's okay. Family is not necessarily family, but if they're going to continue to belittle you and berate you and be mean, that's not family. Babe, that's not family. No, that's called manipulation. We don't do that. We don't do that anymore. So, and Kathy, if a kid chooses another parent over you, wait, be patient and wait. Truth always comes out, always. Be patient, but also understand it's a perfect opportunity for you to now self-reflect and say, where did I possibly go wrong with this relationship with this kiddo? So, and depending on how old they are, is when you can ask, you know, hey, what can I do to improve our relationship? Well, just don't talk to me right now. Okay, cool. You got to respect that. So they always come back around though. They always do. I'm all for this, for the farming community, making crops and farming better. The problem is the mom and pop farms are just going by the wayside and they're getting replaced with commercial shit. And nobody likes that direction. No, nobody likes that direction. None of us do. So, and that's where I'm like going, unfortunately, yeah, it's people like Bill Gates that's buying up all the land, and Ted Turner and everything else. And I'm like, but if you control the food and you control the water, you control the people. So, but now we're starting to see through it. We're like, no more. Like, no. So, and that's where I'm like, until this shifts over, you got to be better with, talking to your local farmers for your meat source, going to your farmer markets, um, you know, we might even start trading. Like I said, that's why I love farmer markets, but you might even start noticing that we're trading a lot more organic food for, what, I can make you a pie, or, what, if you give me some, a quarter of beef, I can give you, I got some trees out back, we can transfer. Like we're going to start bartering and trading a lot more. And like I said, I think that's going to be really important. So, but it's almost just like the small mom and pop farmer needs to really start focusing in on the public and what they can do to help the public, because these bigger corporations are literally going to start eating us out, and we don't want that. So, do I have concerns? Elon? I don't. You know what? I need to look into that a little bit more, but weirdly enough, I don't know if that guy started to go through a spiritual awakening or some shit. I'm not quite sure, but I'm all like, why are you making sense all of a sudden? Like, so I don't quite know. Do I trust him? No, not yet. But I don't reject him as much as I did. So if that makes sense. Let's see. Is there something after 5D? I mean, yes, there's other dimensional realms. I mean, it goes all the way to 12D, which is Godhead. So we have 12 dimensions, like kind of like layers on a cake, if you want to think about it. So we're going from 3D to 5D. That's big. Okay, that's big. We're going to be in 5D for a long, 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 long time. So aliens are more like in 7, 8, 9D. And some aliens are called interdimensional. So they can go from 10D to 4D. So that's what they mean by interdimensional. So some interdimensional beings can do that. So, and some are good and some are bad. So, like I said, will the med beds become more available? Slowly. I think we're really going to see a lot more of that coming out next year. I really do. Technology, especially technology for bodies with sound, frequency, and light. I think that's really going to, people are going to really realize how beneficial that is. That and nutrition. So, and like I said, the old school practices of pharmaceutical are very well going to go by the wayside. So, and that's why a lot of doctors are now leaving hospitals and opening up their own practices. And they're incorporating more alternative medicine into their practice. I call those bridges. They're bridging the gap between medical and alternative. We need to support the bridges out there. Because they still are medical doctors. Because let's be real, if you break your arm, an essential oil ain't going to fix it. I mean, we still need medicine, but we also have plant medicine too. But it depends on, like I said, the circumstance. But I'm loving these doctors that are done feeling like their hands are tied, or the things that they learned in the institution aren't necessarily 100%. So a lot of them now are leaving, and those are great people to support. So, because they're able to provide you with answers with tests that your regular doctor probably wouldn't even run. So, and that's like, those are ones we got to support. So, no, the chick isn't here anymore. Like I said, I haven't, no, thank God. But I just know she was nice. She wasn't mean, or she was like, oh, hi, Kelly. I'm like, what the hell? So, have I had any personal alien experience? No. And I've told them I'm not ready. I don't want to. So I'm like, I'm good with talking to dead people right now. I just now got back into doing readings again. So I'm like, give me a minute. So, but no, not yet. Let's see. No, you don't have to be in 5D for the med bed to work. You can be muggles for that. That's all good. Yes, let me explain this one, Shannon. I did not realize how people say that my face sometimes changes and my eyes change. I guess that's I didn't notice it until 3 years ago, and I happened to be doing it was a phone reading, and I had my earphones in, and I remember I usually sit at my desk, but I stood up for something, and I couldn't remember what it was, and I happened to walk by the mirror, and I looked at my eyes, and they were dilated and bright green. It's like my nose was different. So yes, it does change a little bit when you're tapped in, and other people will notice it. They're just like, "What? You kind of did something different." And I'm like, "No." I didn't really notice it until other time when I get off stage. Even my mom's like, "You're kind of you look a little different," and I'm like, "What do you mean I look different?" And then as soon as I kind of come back down to earth, then I go back to me. I don't know, but yes, I've heard. I don't see it with me. I don't see it me, but other people see it. So, or it's kind of like people sometimes when I'm up on stage, they see my aura, and it's kind of like white and gold. I don't see it, but other people do, and it kind of freaks them out a little bit. So I'm like, so. I would agree with that, Anne. Let's see here. I wasn't sure what to think about the change with Pluto, but yesterday, the day before, was a mess. Today, you feel lighter. Aries here. What can you do to open up more spiritually? Meditate. Meditate. Like, you all know that you need to meditate. You know about law of attraction. You know about meditation. You know about this. You know about that. Now you have to implement it. Now you have to do it. So, and I'm like, now you have to learn how to meditate. Now you need to use law of attraction to your advantage. So I'm like, now we have to start doing it. So it's like, you may be aware of it. Now we got to start doing it. So we will become more vegan, but not in this lifetime. It's going to take us a little bit yet. So we got a lot more work to do before that. But eventually we'll get there. But it's going to be a while. A little bit. Dreamed of deceased mom-in-law, face smiling with a background full of beautiful colors like kaleidoscope. Was that real? You're damn skippy. That was real. That's called a visitation dream. Oh, that was real. And that kaleidoscope, it's funny. You're not the only person who sees that back behind people. I'll either see, sometimes I see a bright white flash or a white to them or a yellow gold to them. Sometimes I do see the kaleidoscope too. It's very strange. But I asked if there's a reason why, and they're like, that's just how your brain interprets it. It's fine. I'm like, okay. This is a great question. Unfortunately, I think we're going to see a lot more drama coming from the Catholic Church. I mean, we already know about some of the things they've done. I don't think you know how bad it really is, what they've done to children, what they've done to Native children, what they still do to children. And instead of getting punished and doing what's right by our society, they get transferred to do it again. So yes, especially, unfortunately, my Catholic people. I think there's going to be a lot of truth that's going to come out to the surface, and it's not going to be pretty. So I'm like, but you got to remember, it's always, the bad stuff has always been there. Light is now getting shined on dark. So the truth, it's always been there. You may not have heard about it, but now the light is going to get shined on it. It's kind of like, about P. Diddy doing some weird crap. Sometimes that happens in Hollywood. Now the light's on it. There's going to be more light getting shined on these things that have been existing for quite some time. And it's rather shocking. So, and that's where I'm like going, I can't sit there and say, do your research, but you'll start coming across stuff. I'm like, go ahead and dive into the rabbit holes. So if it makes sense to you, then it's your truth. And if not, meh. But for the most part, funny. We all kind of see the same thing. All of us intuitive people, all of like, we're waking up. We're seeing the truth for what it is. So yeah, it's going to rock some boats. You're damn skippy, it will. Yeah. And the hardest part is us enlightened ones are going to be like, yeah, well, we kind of knew that. We didn't know it was that bad, but yeah, we kind of knew that. It's the unenlightened ones that are going to freak the hell out. So they're really going to freak out. I'm like, well, so here's the deal. I like plant medicine, especially at a stage 4, when you are really going through the dark night and you're ready to deal with your crap. When you first start out, not so much, because it's gonna, it's a little bit too much. Like, time and place to open up Pandora's box. So if you felt like you've dealt with your skeletons in the closet, so to speak, I would say you bet go for that stuff, whether that is ayahuasca, mushrooms, other things like that. I get it, especially if you're at a stage 4 and you're really ready to get into the meat and potatoes of what makes you tick. Like I said, it's called plant medicine for a reason, but I would tell you that for most people, it's best to do it in a setting like a church setting, where they can help you if things don't go quite right, because you don't know how your body's going to react. And I know a lot of times if you're going to do stuff like that, you can't be on antidepressants or anxiety meds too. So again, do your research, use it with caution, obviously. But yes, there is something to that. And a lot of people see the same thing a lot. So, but yeah. What's my opinion of soul contracts? We all have them. When you come into this world, you're not going to come in just willy-nilly. You're going to come in because you want to learn something, one thing in particular. And that's what a soul contract is making sure that you learn that one thing, whether that is abandonment or, grief or money issues or self or family or love life or health or whatever. So everybody's going to struggle with something in this life, but you're going to, because that's part of your contract. So you have several exit points in that contract. So you literally kind of have 7 lives. But usually 3 days before you're ready to cross over, you're going to check in and be like, do I want to stay or do I want to go? It's pretty fun. I'm going to stay. So, but yeah, for the most part. Let's see. Shannon, if you're noticing that your skin is kind of glittery, that make sure you're drinking a lot of water. But I will tell you that's part of that crystalline structure that we're getting more into. You will notice more glitter on your face, on your arm, especially your arms and your legs, and in your chest. I've noticed that too. And I'm like, why am I so, because at first I thought I honestly thought Eric put something in my stuff just to be a joke. And my guides are like, that's part of your crystalline structure. It's okay. The higher you vibrate, the more crystallized things are going to come out like that. And I'm like, what, is like going to start coming out of my eyes and shit? They're like, no, it's just now that you're up in that higher energy, you're just going to have that crystalline glitter. I guess that's the best word. And I'm the weirdo. I licked it. It's weirdly salty and then it goes sweet. And I know that sounds weird. Just lick it. Because I'm like, oh, that's weird. So, yeah, shiny forehead. That's what I'm like. I literally put on a bunch of matte powder before I just went live. And I'm like, everything's shiny. So, dreamed you need 603 hertz healing, but not much info on it. So it depends. So every body part, like your liver, your lungs, every body part vibrates at a certain frequency. So 603 frequency is absolutely directly going to be related to a body part. Look up the body part. That's the body part that's not going right for you. Let's fix that. So whether that is through frequency or identifying what body part that is. So like I said, we have, and I will tell you, Google doesn't have shit. get on Brave. So don't use Google. Google won't, it's first of all, Google's bot, it's slanted. So don't use Google, use Brave. That's not, Brave isn't tracked. Everything you do on Google is tracked, everything. So everything's tracked on Google. That's why I'm like, that's why all of a sudden you get an ad appearing and you're like, wow, I was just talking about that. I'm like, that's what Google does. So does Facebook. So I'm like, just use Brave. It's a better, it's a better search engine. So I think DuckDuckGo is still supposed to be that way, but I'm like, I don't know about that. So hang on. Had to delete something. Actually, Keith, you are correct. Sauna with cold compressions does help with that crystalline shit. You're right, it does, especially if you put them underneath your armpits. So let's see. Any other questions? What time is it? Oh, 8:30. Okay. So here's the deal. I'm going to be going live a lot more just to help navigate through the new 5D energy until we kind of get used to it. So again, your body and your mind, body, soul connection with this shift that happened, boom, just separated. So we need to get it back together, but understand when that comes back together, you are a changed person. You are not the same person. You're not. So that's why all of a sudden you're having these subconscious releases, the body aches, the headaches, heart palpitations, ears are funky, sleep, good luck. You're like I said, you're going to be super hungry or super not. If you feel like you're disconnected, this is perfect, Edwin. You're just asking about this. You didn't lose them. I promise you did not lose your abilities. It means that your reality right now needs to take precedence over your spirituality. You chose to be here in this time-space reality. You chose to be here. So you got to deal with your shit. Deal with your trauma. Deal with your crap. Once that's dealt with, boom, you pop right back on. So you didn't lose them, I promise. You're just being covered a little bit because you need to pay attention to your reality and fix what needs to get fixed. Okay, all good. I think, let me get out my, hang on. Let me get out my handy dandy note and tell you what the hell I got going on. And if you guys need more information, just head to my website, psychickelly.com. So that's got all my info. I think yeah, I don't have a lot going on here the next couple days, but I'm more than likely going to go live again on Thursday. So like I said, I'll probably go live just like I'm doing here, just to, again, help you guys navigate through this energy. This crazy energy should start dying down by Thursday. But if we have a solar flare or a geomagnetic storm, whoop, we're going to be right back up here again. So again, we got to get used to this energy. It's definitely different. So like I said, it's good. Oh, it's so good, guys. We are on a great timeline. That's why I'm like, I don't think you realize how good of it. We're not going to have to fight as hard. We all know change is coming. We can feel it. We all know that we need to get ready. We don't know what we're getting ready for. And that's why I'm like, in the meantime, clean your house, get your chores done, get anything off the list that you need to get off. Get it off now. Because when we get the call, then we got to start working together, and we're not going to have a lot of time, or at least I'm not going to have a lot of time. At least they tell me that. So but like I said, I'll probably go live again here on Thursday. I do have to teach this weekend because it's Enlightenment Academy. And then next weekend, we call Hell Week at Awakenings, just because it's Hell Week. Thursday, so Black Friday and Small Business Saturday, I will be in Lincoln with Jess. So I'll be at the Lincoln store. Eric will be here at the Awakening store here. So we have 30% off everything. So Friday, Saturday, Monday. We might even have it Sunday, but we have 30% off everything in store. So if you need to get restocked on your sage, now's the time to do it. Again, if black crystals or red crystals might be your friend here. If you're more EMF sensitive, like if your electronics are kind of wonky, which by the way, Mercury goes retrograde on the 25th, back your shit up. Cause this one's going to be weird with electronics, not so much emotional, weird with electronics. So back your cameras up, back up your computers, back up your cell phones, back that shit up. It's going to get a little wonky. So, but like I said, just kind of hang in there. But I probably like I'll probably post a video just letting in my light workers and my star seeds and my enlightened people and all of us to kind of get your shit in order, because it's time. If you still got drama in your life, that needs to get out now. Get it out. So, and if somebody has a problem with you, it's their problem, not yours. Don't make it yours. So like I said, it's time to kind of put up some hard boundaries, buckle up and be like, you know what? I'm done with you. I'm done with you. You can be part of my team. You can be part of my team. Boundary. Here we go. So, and again, if they have a problem with it, it's their problem. Don't make it yours. Like I said, but dust should be settling down. Things should be getting better a little bit, like I said, but I'll check in with everybody here on Thursday to see how things are going. So, but like I said, good stuff. We're on a fabulous timeline, but it's okay if you're losing things. If you're finding out that you're losing things, like you set something down and then you go back to get it and it's gone, you're not losing your shit. It's that's how this energy is. It will show up when it needs to come back. And you're going to feel like you're dropping a lot of stuff and kind of dysfunctional right now. That's okay. So that energy is going to pass here a little bit. So like I said, hang in there, everybody. Like I said, we're on a great timeline. This is good. Like, I'm excited. You don't even know how excited I am. I'm like, finally. So, and we're here for it. That's why I'm super excited. So, all right, guys, take care.